I know, one ought not feed the trolls, and here I have been, leaving out the bowl of troll food on a daily basis. The video is Godlesspanther's Satanic Panic Part 8. The issue is, of all things, the Left Behind video game. Well, to be fair, the makers of this game didn't make a complete ass of themselves. They would have had to have made a sequel called Right Behind in order to do that. I can't rightly say no bun intended. Anyway, my favorite troll has been at it like the Energizer Bunny on methamphetamine and a mission from God to defend the good name of the Left Behind Eternal Forces video game. I have been accused of all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, but mainly spreading lies about the Left Behind video game, which being the poor little defenseless inanimate object that it is, it cannot defend itself. The troll has gallantly rode in on his white stallion armed with straw man, false dichotomies, really bad analogies, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things to be used as evidence against me in his noble cause to vindicate the aforementioned fine product. Here is a list of the very bad things I said about the video games these implements of destruction do include. It really does intend to present their fantastic scenario as reality, contains specific religious ritual, encourages kids to join a cult that really does exist, and it encourages hatred and bigotry toward non-cult members. I said that it received harsh criticism. Most reviews said that it was a crappy game. It sold poorly and the company lost several $1 million on it. I also poked fun at Conservapedia. And that's it. I really don't think that I said anything that could be considered unfair, and the accusation of spreading lies about the game is the dorkiest thing that I've ever been accused of. And Conservapedia? Have you ever poked fun at Conservapedia? Be honest now. Even if it wasn't out loud, that makes you a Conservapedia ridiculer, doesn't it? You know that God is a staunch conservative and he will send you to hell for that. Anyway, there were those who wanted the game to be pulled from the shelves of Walmart. I disagree with censorship, so let them try to sell it. The public decided that it was a flop. So it was. Some said the game was too violent. Yeah, so what? Most video games have an element of violence. See, I didn't agree with every negative thing that was written about the stupid fucking game. Yes, it did have some positive reviews, and I did mention that. No, I did not quote a goddamn one of them. So what? It's my fucking video, and I can quote or not quote whoever the fuck I want to. And if you don't like it, write your fucking congressman. Write to dear fucking Abby. Or pray to Jesus motherfucking Christ. Son of a bitch. Oh, and I guess this is a problem for our courageous troll. I have never played the game myself. I don't intend to. I don't want to. I probably never will. I found a 2-part series on YouTube from the non-profits on the Left Behind video game. Here are some excerpts of my favorite parts of that program from people who have never played the game either.
2. The descriptions of some of the units are noteworthy. The Global Community Peacekeepers, the bad guys, train their recruiter units at colleges, and the highest level recruiter is a secularist, which seems odd considering the group is run by a character who I assume is supposed to be the Antichrist, Pontifex Maximus, who looks like...
That wasn't his name in the book, was it?
I have no idea.
Movie?
Who looks to be in Pope getup. And the name is a direct reference to the Pope as well. What would a secularist have to do with a movement to create a theocratic government that controls the whole world?
But in this case, they said, don't mock Left Behind Eternal Forces because it's a Christian game. Mock it because it's a very bad game. The real-time strategy adventure game from Left Behind Games, based on the best-selling series of novels from Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, will even let down born-again types who expect the rapture to beam them up to heaven any day now. Nobody has enough faith to endure a game with such a hokey story, terrible mission design, serious problems with the interface and graphics, and loads of crippling bugs. Of course, a lot of people won't even make it far enough to find that out, because Left Behind is based on the evangelical notion that you have to accept Jesus Christ as your personal savior or spend an eternity at Satan's weenie roast. Most gamers won't get past the apocalypse right now premise.
Crash my machine over.
Well, this review wraps up. When it comes right down to it, Left Behind isn't appropriate for anyone, religious or not. I also found a blog from a game designer who had a very nice specific laundry list of things that are awful about the game, which I'd like to read also. The grammar of games is fundamentally interface related, making things do what you want them to do. Left Behind Eternal Forces is essentially illiterate. 1. Units are indistinguishable from a distance. Friends in their sweater vests look a lot like singers in their sweater vests, and the only zoom level that lets you tell them apart is useless for navigation. 2. Groups of units have unknown composition. If you select a hero and a bunch of other guys, you can only see the hero info on the screen. 3, pathfinding is awful. 4, you can't target a unit because you need very precise mouse clicks. 5, the main screen doesn't default to north being up. North can be anywhere and you can't rotate it. This is a bad game because it breaks all the rules for a competent game. For people interested in game design, there's nothing here. It's not even a lesson in what not to do, since the sort of stuff it teaches is covered on day 1. It is not a guilty pleasure either, because it's not funny, not over the top enough to make your jaw drop at its badness. This is just the worst design game of the year.
There was some speculation here on the show about exactly how much of this game is about using violence to kill unbelievers.
Yeah.
And what I was able to glean from the various reviews I read is that there are military units that you have that are armed, but there was none of the reviews talked about spending any amount of time gunning down enemies. My guess, from what I read, though this is a guess, is that those military units are defensive. Everything I read in all the reviews talks about how the primary activity is converting people to join your side. I mean, that would be, to me, the only reason to buy this game, is to get really good at it, despite the fact that it sucks so hard, and then play multiplayer as the secularists and kick a bunch of Christian ass. But
apparently it's hard to connect to the servers.
Yeah.
And even when you do connect to the servers, nobody is playing.
All right.
According to the reviews. Woo!
Christian groups are boycotting Left Behind.
Oh.
Yeah? Why?
Religious organizations take exception to faith-based real-time strategy, saying it promotes violence and intolerance.
Oh.
Evidently, The Daily Show has mocked Left Behind.
Good.
Oh.
Talking about the computer game and when we're talking about the books.
Right.
Let's use the whole name so that we get to mock Left Behind while we're mocking Eternal Forces as well.
That sounds great. I love that.
While Left Behind Eternal Forces, the first interactive adaptation of the apocalyptic Left Behind Christian fiction series, was crucified by reviewers upon its release earlier this month, publisher Left Behind Games has already announced a sequel to its real-time strategy game.
Oh, that's planning.
Well,
they did a sequel to the movie, which bombed, too, right?
That's a sign that their revenue doesn't come from actual sales. Their revenue comes from some source that is simply pushing Christian products. In fact, that's another point. Apparently, in the load screen in this game, between missions, ads come up for Christian products.
Ooh.
And you're preached at.
Yes.
Wow.
And you can buy these Christian products while sitting at the load screen.
Chutzpah.
Yeah.
TV show, so.
Okay.
Still, I think Left Behind Eternal Forces should be renamed to Left Behind discounted to $10 after 3 months Forces.
Yes.
The Left Behind video game is available on Amazon. $4.43 will land you a used copy. Or you could probably find it at a second-hand store next to the Herb Alpert records and Rainbow Bright lunchboxes for 2 bits. The Left Behind game was a flop, a bomb, a clunker, a failure, and would be an embarrassment to the creators if those creators had any sense of shame. Why? Because of bad reviews? No, because it sucked. Okay, and now for the disclaimer at the end of this video. Disclaimer. All of the subliminal messages in this video are intended to encourage Christians to abandon their faith and embrace reason. I do encourage blasphemy and unmitigated mocking of religion. Fuck you, Lord. Fuck you, Jesus.